The 2021 MLB trade deadline is actually less than 2 weeks away from today, and it's going to be on July 30th this year instead of July 31st. So in today's video, I'm going to look at the latest Major League Baseball rumors and buy or sell those rumors. So that's what I'm going to do in today's video. But before I get into this video, 92% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So go ahead, get your life together, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications, and leave a like on this video. Subscribe, turn notifications, and leave a like, and let's go ahead and get into this video. So the first rumor we have to talk about is the Rockies are not feeling pressure to trade Trevor Story. And a big reason because of this is because that they're actually going to get a compensation round pick back. And a guy like in the 2021 draft, Ty Madden, but obviously it's not going to be Ty Madden. A guy like a really good guy could fall to them in that compensation round. Now, they've got to give him the qualifying offer as well. And here, for the Rockies, I mean, there's no reason why you should really keep Trevor Story. There's no incentive for them to keep Trevor Story, considering that, for one, they're not competing this year. They're fourth in the NL West with a 40-52 record. They've been horrible on the road this year. And Trevor Story is a very, very good player. Now, if the offers are not there, the offers are not there. But you've got to take what you can get for a guy like Trevor Story, in my opinion. Trevor Story is very good, 28 years old, not re-signing with Colorado, though. He has had a little bit of a down year this year, but Trevor Story, we know how good he is from years past, and he's been pretty solid this year as well. He's pretty good defensively as well. And a lot of teams have had interest. The White Sox have had interest. I mean, there's been a lot of different teams that have had interest. The White Sox, the Athletics have had some interest, but are unlikely to pursue him. And there's been a lot of teams, maybe even Cincinnati could be a team, maybe even Milwaukee. But I doubt Milwaukee, though, with how good Willie Adames has been playing. He's got a 249 batting average, 324 on base this year, 439 slugging percentage, 11 home runs, and 42 RBIs this year. He's had a very good season. For the Rockies, like I said, you're going nowhere right now. And you don't really have that shortstop of the future. But here, what I think with the Colorado Rockies is you get Brendan Rodgers more playing time at shortstop, which is his natural position at shortstop. I think even a Ryan Vidal, who can play the outfield as well, getting him some time would be good as well. And, I just think that they've got a pretty stacked up infield. Even Josh Fuentes, Garrett Hampson even. They need to promote the youth movement, and they really need to trade Trevor Story. And I mean, I like the idea of possibly getting that pick, but I would like the idea of getting two closer to being ready prospects there as well. And if, like I said, if the offers are not there, then I can understand not trading Trevor Story, but try to trade Trevor Story. Let the players get some developing time. I mean, there's literally no point of them keeping Trevor Story, like I said. Next, our second rumor here. Craig Kimbrell is most likely to be traded to one of these three teams, being the Houston Astros, Oakland Athletics, or Boston Red Sox. Now, I would kind of rule the Red Sox off, even though the Red Sox could use a bullpen arm. For one, you've already got Matt Barnes as your closer. And for two, they're going to have to go over the luxury tax unless the Cubs, which they're probably not going to, throw in cash to pretty much cover his contract for the Boston Red Sox. And that's simply not going to happen. So, and they just agreed to a 2-year contract extension with Matt Barnes. So, yes, they could use another arm in that bullpen, definitely. Adam Ottavino and Matt Barnes have been very good this year, but besides that, I still think that they could use another arm, maybe a seventh-inning guy, maybe like an Ian Kennedy from Texas who's getting paid. He's on a minor league deal, if I'm not mistaken. Chris Sale is going to come back pretty soon and could make a big impact. He's going to be pitching his next start at Double-A. But Chris Sale can make a decent impact. Now, I wouldn't get my hopes up too much on Chris Sale, just considering that he's coming back from Tommy John surgery, which is a big injury to come back from. But Eovaldi's been an all-star this year. Eduardo Rodriguez has been questionable this year. But still, for the Red Sox, I don't see this happening. For the Athletics here, they're a team that does not like to spend a lot of money. They don't have one of the better farm systems in baseball right now. Theirs is towards one of the worst farm systems in baseball right now. And for Oakland, I think that this is rather unrealistic too. I just don't think that the Oakland Athletics are going to make a big, big trade like this, even though I think that this would make a ton of sense for them. You've already got a very good bullpen, but you need a closer. You need a closer here. And Lou Trevino is a good arm, but he's not that. They need a closer. They've got a lot of good arms in this bullpen, like Wendelken, Petit, Romo, Digman, Trevino. Like, they've got a lot of good arms here. And Trevor Rosenthal obviously is going to be out for the season with hip surgery. They only signed him to a one-year deal, but a guy like Craig Kimbrell could be somebody that they could look at, but I just don't see them pulling a trigger on a big move like this. But now when you get to the Astros, they're always eager to put in a package for a real big player. And now they don't have the greatest package of assets here. But if you're looking for the Cubs here, the Cubs like young prospects right now, and maybe a guy would intrigue them that is on the Houston Astros in their farm system. They definitely could use another arm. Their bullpen is kind of underrated, I think. I think that Ryan Stanek is actually pretty underrated. Ryan Presley is incredibly underrated, but they for sure need a real closer. I know that Ryan Presley is very, very good, but I think that Craig Kimbrell would just fit so well on this team. No offense to Ryan Presley, but I think he would just fit so good on this team. Who knows if Justin Verlander is going to come back this year? I don't think that that's going to make a huge impact because their rotation might be the best in baseball, even without Justin Verlander. Like, if you add Justin Verlander to an already great rotation with Greinke, McCullers Jr., Valdez, Garcia, and Odorizzi, that's nasty. If you add Kimbrell to this Astros team, I'll go ahead and say it. I think that they're World Series favorites. I think that they are, as much as people do not like the Astros, and I can totally understand why. They still probably are the favorites if they get Craig Kimbrell. Next up, we're going to talk about Max Scherzer, a trade being unlikely for him. This one, I think that the Nationals need to sell off their players. This is ridiculous here. They're getting like the Cubs to me. I think that they need to sell off their players. I think that Scherzer needs to go. I think that there's a point where they just need to realize that their 2019 selves and their 2021 selves are a lot different. They have just a World Series hangover problem. They just want to keep those players on their team just like Chicago does. And I don't like that. I don't. I think that Scherzer's got to go. There's got to be a point because Turner and Soto are young players. It's time to let Scherzer go. It's time to realize that Strasburg is not a very good contract at all. He can't stay healthy. This is one of Scherzer's best years with a 7-4 record and a 2.66 ERA. I mean, come on, trade Scherzer already. And teams could look at that bullpen and be decently intrigued. And if you look in the bullpen here, you've got a Daniel Hudson, you've got a Brad Hand, you've got some guys that maybe they could, maybe some teams would be interested in that. They do have some injuries as well with Kyle Schwarber. They really did well when Kyle Schwarber was healthy. Like I said, Steven Strasburg does not look like a particularly good contract at all. Here, I think you need to let Carter Kieboom have the time at third base too. It's time. It's time to stop. It's time to realize that you're not going anywhere this year. Next, we go back to Colorado. German Marquez will not be traded, according to manager Bud Black. And I can understand this. German Marquez has multiple years of control. But for a guy that just made his first All-Star team, you could see where the value would be at an all-time high for a team like the Angels possibly, for a team like the Yankees maybe even, as a desperate move. Even a team like Tampa could offer the best package out of them all if they really wanted to. So you got to kind of at least listen to the offers, and then you really got to see. I could see a guy like John Gray definitely going at the deadline as well, and a guy like Daniel Bard. I feel like Daniel Bard's a guy that nobody's really talking about, but he could definitely be traded at the deadline. John Gray, though, I think he could be traded, but German Marquez, I could see where he won't be traded. But I think that you've got to, if the offer's there and you're really thinking that, for the Rays, you're going to get a couple good prospects back, you got to take it. You got to take it. He's only 26 years old right now, but he's having probably his best season of his career so far with an 8-6 record and a 3.36 ERA. And you might say those numbers are not out of the world great, But this guy's pitching in Coors Field. In Coors Field, which is the most hitter-friendly ballpark that there is. So, yeah, I think that the Rockies, I could see them not dealing German Marquez, but they at least have to think about it. They at least have to, with the offers that could possibly be offered up. Like I said, they're fourth place in the NL West, 40-52, going nowhere this year. You need to booster up that farm system a little bit. They do have some good prospects like Zach Bean, Drew Romo, Ryan Vidal, Michael Togala, Colton Welker. But they still could use a boost to that farm system. And they're obviously going to add Benny Montgomery, their 2021 draft pick, to that bundle of prospects as well. Next is the Phillies are favorites for Byron Buxton if available. This I can see. The Phillies have needed center field help for a while now. Roman Quinn, Travis Jankowski out there in center field are just not doing it. And an outfield of Buxton, Harper, and McCutchen, oh my gosh, that is a great outfield. Now, for the Phillies, there's a clear thing here that maybe they just don't have the assets. Like, I think that a Mickey Moniak's probably definitely in this trade. I mean, the outfield, like, would be great here, but I do think that they have a lack of assets here. I think that their farm system's getting a lot better, but like I think they're going to be a little hesitant to deal off some of these guys, like a Micah Mel, who they just drafted in 2020, maybe a Casey Martin, but I don't know how big the haul's going to be. And I made a whole video about this, but I don't know how big the haul's going to be for Byron Buxton. I don't exactly know the price. But, I mean, you would think a Garcia or Martin probably would have to go here, their 5 or 6 prospect. Maybe even an Eric Miller, who's their number 8 prospect. Or maybe even a Francisco Morales. Andrew Painter's not going. They just signed him today at the time of filming this video. So, yeah, I see that there's a lack of assets, but I think that it definitely could be traded depending on what his value is. And our final rumor in today's video, we have got the Padres want Joey Gallo, but asking price is crazy. For the Rangers here, you can see why the asking price is crazy for the Padres. And another kind of rumor here, the Yankees also are interested in Joey Gallo, but we're going to talk about the San Diego Padres first. Because I think that the Padres probably have a more intriguing bundle of prospects that they could possibly add. Now, I wouldn't think that Mackenzie Gore would be included here. I don't think that that's going to happen. I just don't. But I think that a guy like, C.J. Abrams is out for the year. I'm interested to see like who the prospect bundle could be for Texas here. I know that they do have good prospects here. Oh crap! I went to the wrong team. But Padres, they have some good prospects. You've got Robert Hassel, who they drafted in 2020. Their 2021 rookies are not going to be a trade. But what about Luis Campesino? Possibly he doesn't really have too much he doesn't really have too much of a position. But CJ Abrams, I could see as the really big piece here. Now, he would not play this year because he's going to be out for the rest of the year. But like CJ Abrams is a guy that like for another bat now, like you could definitely see why they would do this because like CJ Abrams is a guy that really is never going to have a spot on this team. It's sad, but like as good of a talent as he is, he's never going to really have a spot on this team. They have a lot of guys that are almost ready here. Mackenzie Gore is not being dealt, I don't think. But the Padres, they need a bat. They need a bat badly. And I think they might even like ask if possibly a Ian Kennedy could be here or a Kyle Gibson. But that would be a lot more. But Joey Gallo here, the asking price is already pretty big for him. But man, they need a first baseman. This guy's versatile too. He could play left field, right field, center. He could play first base. He could play third base. He could play just about wherever he wants to. And Joey Gallo in that lineup would be great. Their rotation is depleted right now. Darvish, Lamet, Weathers, Clevenger, all of them are on the IL. Like they're really depleted right now. But still, I mean, you add a Gallo to this lineup, and you've got a lineup of Grissom, Tatis, Cronenworth, Machado, Gallo, Pham. I mean, that's nasty. Like, that's nasty. And when we talk about Slam Diego, Gallo fits perfect for that. Let's go and talk about the Yankees side of this. Now, the Yankees would probably offer Miguel Andujar and Clint Frazier and maybe even Clark Schmidt here. But speaking of the Yankees, I'm watching the Yankees Red Sox game right now, and it is pouring the rain there. But you can see where a need for Joey Gallo is, but he strikes out too much for this team. They need a guy that can put the ball in play, and I don't think that this is the season for the Yankees. I think that the rotation is just too bad, and I mean, you've got a ton of injuries right now. You've got Luke Voigt on the 10-day. You've got Gio Urshela, Aaron Judge on the COVID IL. And I mean, Miguel Andujar, Clint Frazier too. Like, I mean, Corey Kluber's out for the year. Clark Schmidt is out as well. Luis Severino as well. Like, this team's very depleted, and this team is bad right now. Aroldis Chapman has been horrible ever since the foreign substance thing came out. Gary Sanchez, they need to make a decision with him. They really do. Gleyber Torres has been god-awful this year. He's been so bad this year. DJ LeMahieu, that contract is not working out too well either. Cole is starting to get better. But yeah, like I said, Chapman has not been good. I mean, it's ridiculous. The Yankees are bad. They're in fourth place right now with a 46-44 record. They need to make some moves. I don't think that they should really make some moves. I just don't think that this is the year. I don't think that they're better than Toronto, which Toronto's going to be moving back to Toronto in a couple weeks. But I know that they're not better than the Red Sox, which the Red Sox have already won 8 games versus them this year. The Rays, I don't think that they're better than the Rays. I don't think that they're better than the Blue Jays. I think that they're right in their third or fourth place team. And Joey Gallo is not going to help him any with his strikeout problems. As good of power as he's going to bring to this team, he's got to stop striking out. And this Yankees team already has a lot of strikeout kings as it is with Gleyber Torres and Carlos Stanton. Like, they have a lot of strikeout kings as it is. So they don't need another. So yeah, those are the latest MLB rumors. Buy or sell. Like I said, I'm going to do the buy or sell at the I guess I'll do the buy or sell at the end. I totally forgot about the buy or sell. But the Rockies are not feeling pressure to trade Trevor Story. I can buy that to an extent. Craig Kimbrell most likely to be traded to Astros, Athletics, or Red Sox. I'll buy the Astros part, sell the others. Max Scherzer trade unlikely. I mean, going off recent track record, probably buy, but I think it should be sell. Phillies favorites for Buxton if available. I can buy that. Herman Marquez will not be traded. I sell that. And Padres want Joey Gallo, but asking price is crazy. Yankees also want Gallo. I'll buy that as well. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because like I said, 92% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So go ahead, get your life together, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a like. Thank you for watching, and peace.